welcome to this global GEG broadcast. We'll be making a start shortly, and while we're waiting for everyone to arrive, why not head into the chat, let us know who you are, where you're from, your Twitter handle, and if you've got any questions that you'd like us to answer during the course of this evening, let us know there as well. Also, if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button to make sure you stay up to date with all of the events being organised by us at Global GEG. We'll be making a start really soon. Thanks for joining us. Being organised.
Yay! So welcome everybody to Global GEG's Getting Started with Canvas Part Deux. We're back with the amazing Lance and Adam, and Dana, Cuni, and I are also Canvas trainers with our district, or mentors, and we're super excited to learn along with you. And take it away, Lance.
All right, so we're going to get started here tonight. First off, if you need to get to our slides, it is at bit.ly/GSW-Canvas-2. And that is all lowercase GSW, standing for Getting Started With, of course. So as you said, I am Lance Key. I am currently the Instructional Technology Specialist in Putnam County, Tennessee for our Vital School. Google Certified Innovator, Google Certified Trainer, Level 1, Level 2. A few other things that I've got going on here. But I am one of the Canvas admins for our district.
I'm Adam West. I am a remote learning specialist for our county, also with Vital, also a Canvas admin, have been for a few years now, and just glad that we get to have an opportunity to do this with more people than just our local district. Hopefully we have a lot of those guys on as well.
All right, so first thing we want to do is we have the largest Google Summit in Tennessee. So we have usually around 600 to 700 people live at our Google Summit this year, but we're taking it virtual this year. We would like to invite everybody that's out there to join us at it. It'll be very similar to this. It is at vitalgoogle.com. You can sign up. I can tell you we have already over 20 Google innovators that will be presenting for us, many Google certified trainers, level 1, level 2 teachers. We're going to be talking about Google tools in the classroom, remote learning, flexible learning. We're going to talk about personalized learning, CTE, STEM, admin tracks, all those things. So come join us, have a good time, and just learn together. All right, next, if you're looking for a podcast to listen to, Miss Stephanie Howe, also from Global GEG, she and I host a podcast together, Get Inspired and Innovate.com. You can get there, listen to our podcast. We push that out weekly. It's really about, just inspiring teachers and others out there to keep going, to inspire innovators to keep going with their projects, because big things are coming. So tonight, kind of our agenda, we're going to recap from last week. Then we're going to build a module live here on air. So we got a lot of feedback this week from you guys. Many emails came in. Thank you for the emails and pointing us in the direction you want us to go. We're going to build a whole unit or a module live on air tonight, show how to do some quizzes, things like that, and then talk about external tools. But first, before we get going tonight, Miss Stacy, she's got some cool things that she wants to give us a cool little tip, and then Miss Dana's going to give us a cool tip too tonight that she's using in her district.
Oh, yay, thank you. That was awesome. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Stacy Kline. I'm with the Santa Ana Unified School District. I'm a global GEG leader and a GEG SoCal co-leader. And a lot of us are mentoring other teachers in Canvas in our district, and I'm also a Canvas admin. And so it's really, really relevant to us. We push out all of our curricular units through Canvas, and we can't say enough nice things about it. So I'm showing you, I started a level 1 Canvas course to help our district teachers get level 1 certified. And I put it in Canvas so I could not only help them succeed and give them feedback, but also to model how to set up a Canvas course, since this is new to a lot of people. My quick tip today is, so you see here the navigation bar, which is, I can see it because I'm in my my teacher user account. And to change that, if you want, my recommendation is to keep your navigation simple. The less over here, the better. And if you want something to not be seen, you bring it down below. So I just want home, assignments, people, and grades. And I would even do less with students, but this is an adult class for my adult learners. And so I'm going to save that. And then when you click over here, a lot of people aren't aware of the student view. Student view will show you what it looks like as a student. This is very helpful for you when you're trying to see if your navigation is understandable to your end user. So you'll see I only have 4 items for my students to click on: grades, people, assignments, and home. And again, if this was my students, I wouldn't even have assignments. I would just have it home, and I would have it navigate through a next button, so that the more you simplify it, the more straightforward it is for your students. And then don't forget to reset your student and leave student view when you're done. So again, we just went into settings, navigation, and don't forget to save it. Yay!
All right, Dana, can you show us how to make a workroom there in your district?
Absolutely. Okay, so I've had a few questions this week from people in Clark County School District, and they want to know how to create a workroom, or I think you guys call it a sandbox. So all you have to do is go to courses, and then once you're in courses, you can see all courses right down here. So you're going to click on there, and then in the top right corner it says create a workroom. Now, if you do create workrooms, admin have to delete them, so you don't want to make too many of them. So just keep that in mind when you're creating a workroom.
And Dana, can you introduce yourself too?
Oh, sorry. Hi, I'm Dana from Clark County School District. I'm also GEG Nevada leader. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Dana. So again, we're going to recap last week right quick. So many of you maybe didn't get to see last week's, which we're going to quickly talk about that. So the first thing is, if you didn't get to see last week's, here is the link to the YouTube from the slides tonight. And then here's last week's slides also. All right, so this was getting started with Canvas week 1. So first off, your unanswered questions. Sorry that we didn't get to everything last week. They try to keep us close to an hour, so we don't want to take too much time. So first question is, do I need a different home page for every course? And my answer to that is going to be, it depends. All right, so if you are creating these Bitmoji classrooms, which Adam and I looked at and showed you those last week, and you have hyperlinks going, yes, you need a different homepage for each one. Because when you are in Canvas and you are in a course, every course has a specific number that goes along with it. So you'll see this course right here is 996. So that number creates a hyperlink. So this is the whole hyperlink for this. So if you're using hyperlinks on your homepage, yes. Now, if you're creating an information page, and on that information page, all that it's got is like, welcome to class, your email, just maybe something for the parents and the students to see, then no, you can use the same homepage for every one of your courses. All right, so next question. Adam, I'm going to let you take this one. I'm not even sure what it is this, how do we set different weights in assignments? Okay, so how do we set grade weighting in our assignments?
Well, when you go into a course, as we are sitting here, of course, this will be one of the items we'll actually talk about tonight a little bit as we get into building an assignment and of course, a quiz. But when you go into your assignments link on the left, whether it's visible or not, it doesn't matter. You start creating your groups. And what you typically want to do is look at things that you've done in the past in your classroom. What did you weigh items in the classroom? And then do the same kind of similar thing, whether it be a district mandated end of a course exam worth so much, those kind of things. But when you click this, you can name a group. Let's just hit one real quick. Let's call it sample. Once we hit save, then we can start working on our how much is that group worth. And so as we get in right here, so that's how you're going to create your groups and assignment weighting and assignment groups weights. Let's make sure it's checked too. So there you go. They've changed it on this one, but that's how it's done. It's done in the same sense there.
All right. And the next is, when making a course, who do I assign content to? So that was something we were talking about last week when we had those boxes of where you could assign to everyone or just a different group. So what I generally do is I leave it everyone, which that's what it defaults to. So in Canvas, if you leave that as everyone, as your students come in there, it will assign to them. But remember, you have the option to turn modules on and off. All right, so this next one, this is one that we have been working on for you guys. How do you bring Google Forms into Canvas? And there's multiple different ways to do this. First off, you can embed that quiz straight into a page, or that Google form right into a page. Second thing that you can do is you can put a link out to it. Now, both of those methods is not going to allow the grades to flow back into Canvas. So a third option that we're looking at, Alice Keeler has a Google Forms print option that she's working on right now. I don't know if she's published it yet or not. That will allow you to print this to a PDF, and then you can select the text and copy and paste in those things. I know it's not a great fix, but that's what we've got for right now. But we may have other things coming.
Can I say one thing onto that, Lance?
Yes.
One item of note: if you choose to put items, you don't have to screen share with me. I'm sorry. If you choose to put items in Canvas that you want to grade that's linked out to a Google form, you can always export those grades and bring those back in a spreadsheet. You can do the same thing in Canvas. So basically, be a copy and paste, make sure things are aligned, and then it'd be a little bit of a way to bring grades back and forth. A little bit of a trick to it, but what Lance is saying at this point, and I'll be honest with you, we have not found what we would consider the best way possible.
But we were looking for it. So anyway,
we're going to continue search.
Yes. All right. So next, can I put videos and quizzes? Yes, you can put videos and quizzes. You can do it a couple of different ways. The main way you can do it is in the text or in the rich content editor up top. You can drop your videos straight into there. And then the last one, we were talking about this. Someone asked exactly about Google Meets last week. So is there a Google Meet feature in Canvas? I put a hyperlink to the directions of actually how to set it up so that you have that same Google Classroom feature of the link to open up Google Meet for you and all your students right inside of Canvas. But you can also use a free tool called Big Blue Button inside of Canvas. Big Blue Button will allow you to have breakout rooms and things like that right inside of Canvas. All right, we're going to get into building a live module tonight. Now, one thing that I'll tell you is these slides are for you guys. All right, so Adam's going to talk about how to do this in a minute. There's a video that I've got here. I'm going to walk kind of through the steps of how I build modules and how I build content inside of Canvas. But if I'm going too fast, or if you just want to go back and watch me do it live, there's a video here of me doing it. So I'm going to jump out right quick, and we're going to build our first live module. So except for these things that you see here, this course is brand new, and we wanted to do it this way because when you come into a Canvas course, this is what you're seeing. Now, the first thing that I want to tell you is when you're building a Canvas course, as you saw on our slides there, 20% of the course is actually built inside of Canvas, or for us it is. 80% of it is built elsewhere, like Google Drive, your Google Draw, slides, going out and finding things on Quizlet, all these other places. So if I go over to my Google Drive, the first thing that I can suggest to all of you is make sure you have everything really organized in there. So here is my Algebra 1 class. You will see that I have it set up in semesters, semester 1, semester 2. We're going to look at semester 2. Then I've got my units. So 7, 8, 9, 10, all that. And then you'll see inside my units, I have my lessons that I have built out. So we're going to quickly build this chapter here from chapter 8. I'm going to do this pretty quickly. The first thing that you need to ask yourself is, do I want my students to submit anything to me on these assignments? Or is this something maybe they'll submit at the very end? Or are we just going to put like lesson checks in there later? All right, for me, I'm going to build these as assignments tonight because I want to score on each one of them. If you don't want that, you would build it as a content page. First thing I'm going to do is add my first module. You can hit create new module, this big button in the middle. They're trying to tell us something. Or you can hit the red button right here. I'm going to hit this. I'm going to call this Unit 8, and this is going to be Systems of Equations. All right, and then I'm going to hit Add Module. So you'll see my first module has now been added. To add content to this module, I come to the plus sign on the module, and I click the plus sign. All right, now, as I said, I want this to be graded. Batman and Robin, I love the name. I guess you're Batman, so I get to be Robin. Awesome. Love it.
I guess so.
So as I said, I'm going to create these as assignments. If you didn't want to score them, you would create them as pages, and it would be the same way. So I'm going to hit New Assignment, and I'm going to title this, and I always start generic. You can go in and edit these later, but I'm just calling this 8.1, just making it real easy. Okay, and then I'm going to hit this again, and I'm going to call this next one 8.2. hit add, hit the plus sign again, 8.3, add, 8.4, add, and then last, I come in here and I'm going to say 8.5. And again, very generic. If you want to go in and make your titles longer later, you can, but I suggest starting this way. And then we're going to do Unit 8 review. So now I have created my shelves to put all of my content inside of this Unit 8 module. So I'm going to start, I'm going to edit 8.1. I click on 8.1. Remember, this is an assignment page. I'm going to hit the edit button once I get inside of here. And in my rich content editor, now, which will pop up top here, I'm going to build everything from Google Drive. So I'm clicking my plugin button. I'm going down. I am finding Google. Double click this guy. And we are using the Google Cloud creation tonight, not the Google Assignments. We'll get to Google Assignments in a future episode, but it's still in beta and we're working on it. So I'm going to go to Lesson 1. And I know in Lesson 1 that I need the video that goes along with that, and I need my packet that goes along with it. I'm going to hit Embed. Now, I made this an assignment. So up top, we should see my videos and we should see my PDF. So here's my video over how to do it. Here's my PDF that goes along with that. I'm going to make this thing worth 100 points. I want this to go into my assignments categories. You can see that Adam and I created assignment categories here. I want it to be points. And I want them to submit it online because I may have them take a picture of it. I may have them, put it in their Google Photos and then upload it any of those ways. Attempts, limited. If I wanted to, number of attempts to get 1, unlimited, whatever you want to set there. Assigned to everyone. We talked about that earlier. And I'm going to hit save and publish. All right, I've created the first one now. I walked you through it step by step. But now I want to show you how we're going to do it. We're just going to go quickly through these now. So I'm going to go back to my assignments, or I could go to my modules page. I'm going to click on 8.2. And we're going to go ahead and click through these right quick. So I'm going to go here again. I'm clicking my plugin button. I'm clicking Google Apps. I'm going to go to Algebra 1, Semester 2, Unit 8, 2, and then I'm going to click on my video again. So I'm solving linear system equations with substitution, and I want my packet to go along with that. I'm going to embed that. Scroll down again. So it's bringing my video in, my PDF in again, as you can see here. 100 points. Keep that in assignments. Submission, same, online, text entry, web URL. If you want any of these, you can too. That's fine. That's up to you. I'm going to set this as limited, 1 attempt, signed everyone, save and publish. So I've got a couple more I'm going to do. Adam, go ahead and share your screen out. Talk through your slides right quick while I do 8.2, 8.3, and 8.4. And I hope by the time that you get done talking, I'll have this done.
Well, thanks, Lance. We're going to start out talking about a little bit more about assignments as he started out, and we'll talk about quizzes as well tonight. And I know there's a lot of questions, but I want to answer a question that I saw from Meredith there just a second ago. She asked, were we able to seamlessly transition during the COVID quarantine into a online learning? And yes and no would be the answer. I know that's as clear as mud, but as you probably know, in most states, they kind of changed the guidelines as what is able to be required of the kids at a certain point within the semester of last year, as they did in Tennessee. And so it kind of forced a lot of hands for kids to either some continued on with their education, some did not. And we are a Google/Canvas district, and so by doing that, we were able to do some things. But even then, I don't know that any district was really ready for the amount of devices and the amount of hotspots that were going to be required. So hopefully that answered your question. That yes and no. Yes, we did some, but even then, I don't know that we were prepared for what we really experienced as far as just a full drop of students to online learning. All right. So first of all, as we're dealing with assignments, and I'll show you here in just a second. But first of all, you got to decide what type of assignments that you want to do. And you saw that Lance kind of did a lot of his stuff on the front end. If you're going to do that, that's great. That's exactly what you should do. But is it going to be a Google Doc? Is it going to be an LTI tool, which he'll talk a little bit about in a moment or two? And text entry, as you saw, you can just put a text entry up there, or you could use another tool, or truth is, you could use a video and have questions about the video. You could embed that video, or you could, if it's a YouTube that you wanted in, you can do the same thing. I know a lot of us out there use Edpuzzle and some tools like that, but you could also do that within Canvas in a different kind of format. And then the next thing will be, what will your grade weighting categories be for all of your assignments? What did you decide? How did you want to put things? Like, not everything's just going to be an assignment. Some things might be a discussion base or something to that effect. So you kind of got to know your grade weighting. That's kind of where you start, as you script out your course and what that's going to look like. What will your instructions look like? How will you explain each assignment? Obviously, I know there should be content, and Lance has showed you that you can put pages with instructions. You can have content from other sources, Java-based, HTML-based, all the things that we've done before. And you can do it that way, or you can just do a video of your own, or you can do written assignment or instructions at the top and kind of change those as needed based upon assignments, or as you change from course to course. How will you want this assignment to be submitted? And Lance kind of covered that a second ago. Do you want it to be online? Do you want it to be a text entry? All the options that are out there. And there's some thought process to that as you start dealing with plagiarism, as you start dealing with some ideas like that. And do you want to use a plagiarism tool, or do you have access? And I know a lot of us, as we start in this Canvas journey, some of you are just now getting started out there, try to have that conversation. Is it important to you that you're able to check for plagiarism? Because as you build assignments, it will be important not to just put yes, no, or even just all the time just number answers. Every now and then you're going to have to put some kind of essay type answer to kind of check understanding, but also to kind of keep people on the honest. And so that's kind of what our plagiarism tool, we kind of do that. And then what is your due date or the window for the assignment? And let me give you a couple thought ideas as I'll show you this in just a second. As you create essay questions for understanding or different things like that, just make sure that you can justify not only a one-word answer, but you want kids to really kind of put a thought process into it. So that's one of the important things about the essay, even though that's only part of the plagiarism check. Also, we like to use logos and watermarks in Google Drive on our Google Docs. And not that that's the fix-all. I mean, obviously, you could do a true watermark would be awesome. If Google, you're out there listening, let's try to get that in. That would be great for our future to put a watermark embedded in behind the document. But obviously, with the type of code that Google has, it's not possible right now. But we put, headers and footers, and we change those based upon semesters or based upon courses. Just something to kind of keep the kids honest, but at the same time to say, when I look at a document, hey, that document's from this semester because I know my logo's there or something to that effect. So that's always, I think, a good thought. And
hey,
does that? Go ahead.
Not to interrupt you, but I'm done building my module. Just
go ahead. I'll let you go back, and then we'll talk about it. I'll show off the assignment stuff, and so there we go.
All right, so let's go back to my screen right quick, and you'll see that I don't know how long that took. Not a whole lot of time, but if you look on my screen, I don't know if that's my screen going crazy or not, but let me try stopping the share and maybe resharing it because I think it's causing it to collapse or do something crazy there. All right, ladies, here you go. Have my screen back. Let's see if that fixed it. And there we go. All right, so you can see they're all green now, and you can go right in, click on the lessons. A couple of things that I want to show you too that's helpful once you build the assignments out. So here's my video. Because it's coming from Google Drive, these do have pop out, so that'll pop out. This will pop out, and this tells you at the bottom points submitted, how you can submit it. So this is a text box or web URL. Number of attempts. If I put a due date, it would be here. If I put available from and to, it would be there. And who it's assigned to, you see everybody. If I wanted to add a rubric, I would do it right here. I'm not going to in this case. We hit the next button. We go to 8.2. You'll see it looks identical to it. Again, there's the video. Here's the PDF that goes along with that. So a lot of times I'm just trying to get you started. So this wouldn't be like my full course that I would do. We wouldn't just be doing PDFs. But I know some of us are just trying to get started, and we try to do everything digital. But, you know, our students a lot of times can write on top of this or take screenshots of it. There's tools out there like Web Paint that's an extension you can use to write on this PDF. And then they can take screenshots of it and turn that in for work. So don't try to make it harder than it really is. And that's why I gave them the option of uploading a file or, you know, doing a website URL turn in, because Google Drive, they can share those URLs if you do it that way. So as you can see, we've got all of our content 8.1 through 8.5 that is populated inside here right now. And then we have our review. So I'm going to let Adam finish talking about assignments, but then we need to figure out how to assess these guys. So Adam, finish talking about assignments there.
Yeah, let me come back here. I'm going to click on one of your assignments actually. So we've got Lance's assignment. I want to kind of go through it, and I know I showed you how to kind of get started, and he gave that. But as we edit it, and you're dealing with your stuff, and these are just kind of thoughts. Your submission, typically when you have a plagiarism, of course you can see VeriCite, not advertisement for VeriCite. We don't actually have VeriCite anymore. We use another plagiarism checker that we have acquired. But anyway, so you can see you can use different ones, but that's a very important thing. And then as you look at it, in a lot of instances, how many times do you want the children or the kids to actually be able to submit an assignment? And what we typically try to do is one, but with our particular plagiarism checker, it forces us to reset it for them to have another opportunity. And so, because it's an external tool, which Lance is going to talk about in a second, but just as a thought, that plagiarism is a conversation that probably needs to be had, and just thoughts about that and different tools that you can use to kind of keep on top of the kids. Trust me, they're smarter than we are, and we're just trying to make content that's quality. And you go back to what Lance said, can we embed videos in this? Yes, we surely we could. Wouldn't it be a great idea during this COVID quarantine, as you guys are starting out, some of you remote learning, to maybe film your classroom for if you're doing a blended type, or have some kids at school and some kids not, and try to embed that video here and maybe have something below it for the day, and something like that. And I think an important aspect of what Lance did with his naming is that name your core, these items, these assignment items, based upon standards, based upon content, so you can easily find those things later on. And it's really accessible, because most of our courses, and this, we're not going to spend time on this tonight because it would take absolutely forever, but most of our courses have a sync to our school management, to our SIS. And so with that, we can take our grades and apply them sometimes straight to our SIS. But that's all I've got for assignments so far. Lance, if you want to move on to the.
Right. Yeah, I saw a question come in there. Somebody asked about duplicating things for students, like Google Docs, like Classroom does. Yes, you can do that. It's in, I think we showed that in last week's lesson, but if we have time at the end tonight, we can do that. Or, if you want to email us, we can send you a quick video on how to do that. Not hard to do at all. So we're going to jump into quizzes now. Again, these slides are more for you than for us. There's a button right here. This is about a 13, 14-minute long video that I made the other night just to show you how to do this. But I'm going to show first how to, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong slide. Right here, I'm going to show you how to import quizzes from ExamView. So most of our textbook come with ExamView or something like this. So this is ExamView. I'm going to create a new test from here, and I'm just going to call this Systems of Equations. Using elimination.
Lance, I hate to throw another moment in here. I know you were answering that question for Tammy, I believe. Tammy, I see that on here. And Tammy, one thing you can do, and I saw Andrea answering it for you. One thing you can do is not necessarily embed that document in there, but there's a little trick when you share a document of deleting the end past the / and putting copy there, and then putting that link in any type of document. And when students click on that link, it brings it up and it says, do you want to make a copy? So technically it can force them to make a copy as opposed to just putting that document in there. Sorry, Lance.
No, that's fine. Yeah, there's two ways to do that inside of Canvas. And like I said, if we have enough time at the end, we'll show you how to do both of those. If not, we'll put it back on the docket for next week to go over it again. So here's my test. I went ahead and I made this. I'm going to go in and find, if you don't know how to build in exam view, you generally go up to select, and then you're going to select questions, and you can pick what you want here. I always say while viewing, because I want to look at the questions while I'm viewing them. I've got all these different textbooks inside of here. I know it's an Algebra 1, and I'm going to go to English because that's what I speak, chapter banks, and then I'm going to go down to systems of linear equations and inequalities. All right, so I've got that added here. Now I'm going to go find the questions that I want. So we're going to build a test that we want in here. So I can scroll through. Of course, this is graphing. What I'm looking for is, first off, if it has a red dot on it, that means it can be multiple choice or fill in the blank. All right, so that's good to know. But then if it has a calculator on there like this, that means that it will recalculate values for me. That's very important. Okay, and I'll show you why in just a second. So I'm going to keep scrolling. So this one is substitution. And let's see, let's keep going. And here we go. Here's an elimination problem. So we got an elimination problem here. Here's another elimination problem. So we're going to click. There's two there. There's another one. There's a third elimination, fourth one. All right. So now I've got 4 on, well, there's another one, 5. Let's go ahead and add those 5, maybe 6. All right. So now I've got 6 elimination questions on my test. All right. Now everybody's saying, all right, you got 6 questions. That's not a whole lot to pull from. But since it has this calculator button on here, I can highlight this problem. You can either right click it and press duplicate, and it would duplicate the values of that question. So you see that's the same exact question, but it has different numbers in there. Or if you're on a Mac, you press Command D. If you're on a PC, you press Control D, and it will continue to recalculate the values for those problems. So I'll just hold the button down. There we go. We're getting a bunch of problems there. Now I'm going to go to the next one because maybe it's a little bit different skill set, same standard, but a little different skill set. I'm going to press Control D again. There we go. We got some more problems. I'm going to go down to this one. All right, so this one doesn't have like coefficients on the X's or Y's, so this one is definitely different. So again, Control D, get a few there. Same thing here, Control D. And we'll go to the last one, and I don't even know. So there's 75 questions now that I've created that is over this skill or standard. So you don't even have to save it. I generally do. I'll go File, Save As, save it, and I copied that name from earlier. That's a little trick that I use. That way you can create them all the same. I'm going to hit Save. Again, didn't have to do that, just so that I can get back to it later and edit it if I want to. The important thing is what we want to do is hit File, Export, Blackboard 7.1 to 9. There is a Canvas one here. I've been told not to use Canvas yet. Some things are in beta still. Blackboard 7.1 to 9.0 is what we want. Okay, so again, File, Export, 7.1, 7.9. I'm going to click this guy here. I'm going to paste that name in here again. That way it's the same. You've got to paste it in here for the name again. And then last, it wants a directory name. So this is a place for it to put images. I put the same exact name again because I want to make sure my image file directory is different for every test that I make inside of Canvas, just so that nothing gets crossed up. I've had it happen before, so just take my words of wisdom and don't do that. I'm going to press OK right there. It's exporting the test right now, and it's going to create a zip file for me. So if I look back on my desktop now, I have, here's the test that it made. Here's the zip file that I'm going to put in Canvas now. So I go to my Canvas course that I was building. I'm going to go to Settings down here at the bottom. Go to Settings and wait for Danny's thing to go away. There's Settings. Over on the right-hand side, Import Course Content. Just so you know, if you have your window and it's collapsed a little bit, I see this happen a lot on Macs, it will go to the bottom down here, okay? So Import Course Content. If you have it maximized, it should be on the right side. From here, I am going to go with Blackboard 6, 7, 8, 9. So select one, Blackboard 6, 7, 8, 9. Choose a file. So I'm going to come. Here's my systems of equations using elimination. Press Open. Very important step here. Do not miss this. Do not miss this. Select Question Bank. I'm going to create a new question bank. And I'm going to paste that name right in there. And I'm going to hit all content. And I'm going to hit import. Now, we've got 75 questions coming in. It's probably going to take maybe 30 seconds. You'll see that blue bar go across there. Once it's finished, that quiz will now be in Canvas. Okay, but we're going to take it one step further for you guys, and then I'm going to throw it to Adam, and we're going to talk about what to do after that. So we're going to go one step further. So this is one skill that these students need to work on. All right, we're almost done, almost there. And so maybe a little longer, 30 seconds, but that's a lot of equations and things coming in there. So I'm going to hit quizzes now. It's done. And you will see right there's my quiz, 75 points, 75 questions. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, and most people would panic when I do this, as long as you hit question banks, your question banks hide in these three dots right here, manage question banks. They're hiding there. I'm actually going to click these three dots right here, and I'm going to delete this test. Don't panic. All right, it's gone forever. But if I want to make a quiz now, I hit plus quiz. And I'm going to go questions, new question group now. So details is where you set up all of your stuff as far as your test security, where you want the assignment group to go. You say it's a graded quiz, but I don't want to go to assignments. I want to go to quiz. This is where you set your time limit. So I may only want 10 minutes on this. Okay. Again, Adam was talking about keeping them from cheating. Questions. Now I'm going to go to new question group. Here, under this, I'm going to link a question bank. So I'm going to come, and you can see I have created some. I cheated, and I did create these others beforehand. But here's the one that I just created. So I'm going to grab this guy, select bank. And we're just going to do a lesson check right now. So I'm going to pick 5 questions. And I want these questions, of course, to count 20 points apiece. You have to hit the red group button. Now, let's hit save and publish. And we are going to preview this guy. So when I preview it, we will see 5 different questions here. Now, your students, because of the way that I just built this, they will all get different questions, and they will be in different orders. Okay, and guess what? If a student fails this quiz and you need to reteach them and then give them the same quiz over again, it will pull different problems. We got 75 problems here to pull from, so they possibly could take this thing 15 times and not see the same questions. One change that I would make here, and I always do this on math, is you see how it's showing all 5 questions at the same time? I am going to come down here and say, show one question at a time. And there's a reason for that. There's some things we've ran into later or ran into that when we were building stuff that this will help clear up. Adam, I'm going to throw it back to you right quick. I'm going to build these lesson checks, and then I'm going to show everybody how to bring them in here in just a minute. But go ahead and talk to them about quizzing a little bit.
Sure. Just a little bit. I know most of you are sitting there and you've got Lance telling you this stuff, especially I work with him every day. Kind of funny that he said that don't use Canvas export yet, still stick with the Blackboard. And, you know, I kind of envision Lance sitting in the back alley somewhere and somebody saying, listen, I got information for you. That's kind of the way it works around our office. So he searches everywhere for that. But anyway, as we look at these building quizzes, and he kind of talked about how to do the whole exam view. And that's a very important because most of us still have that tool laying around in some kind of textbook somewhere. But as you look at this and my slide, I want to kind of go through these. But first of all, and some of this he's already talked about, but the initial quiz settings, and I think I saw a question, can you do long answer, short answer? Yes, you can. There's a lot of different choices. I'm going to show you here in just a second. But what category do you want this to be in? Do you want this to be test versus a quiz? And there is a difference, because a test may be something that we want to not only put a different kind of password in, but we want to proctor that. And so we want to make sure that that's something kids can't guess the password. And we do a little kiosk type application that really restricts that they can only be in the test. And quizzes, on the other side of that, I'll give you this as a little nugget I said last week. If you put a password for a quiz, when kids are just hitting next, it keeps them from automatically opening a quiz in which they're like, oh, I wasn't ready to take it. And then all of a sudden you get an email that says I wasn't ready to take that. And you should already have your grade weighting configured. We talked about that in the assignments section. What kind of instruction are you going to give these kids for this quiz? Are you going to give them a PDF? Are you going to embed a video? Are you going to do some text? Are there other tools out there? Do you want to link out to a website? I mean, it doesn't, or could it just came from previous content on a page? And time limits. Do you want to put time limits? And yes is probably the answer more than not. Now, you know, as well as I know, there are going to be students that you're going to have to kind of make modifications for and kind of keep that into consideration. But sometimes we don't, if it's just something that we want them to do, and we've actually started this in our county, we've started doing quizzes as an assignment, which sounds kind of crazy and mind-blowing when we just talked about assignments. But really what we've done is we've taken a quiz and we can pull the answer, but we've set it in the assignment section based upon what we were previously doing as an assignment. And that way we can really kind of generate some thought process and change those questions quickly and kind of pull from 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of questions. So it's really good food for thought. But the shuffle the answers, as Lance showed you, when you create items in a group, it allows you to, like if you put 10 questions in a group and you say pick 5, like he showed you a second ago, then it will shuffle those 5. And of course, it says at the beginning, do you want to shuffle the answers? Well, we do want to shuffle the answers, but we would also like to shuffle the questions. And if we do one at a time, well, that restricts the likelihood that a student sitting next to each other would receive the same question if it's a test, if you were doing it that way. Just a lot of thought, depending upon what your, you believe as a teacher and what you want to, kind of test security and things like that. Do you want to allow the kids to have multiple attempts? That's always a question you got to kind of roll over as you go through these settings on this. Do you want to put a password? Which, yeah, we think that's a great idea for both of them. A simple password for the quizzes that the kids know, and a little bit more complex for the test if you want to proctor those and do that sort of thing. What do you want the students to see when the test has ended? Do you want them to see the answers? Incorrect only, by specific date, needs careful consideration. You got to really think about what you're going to do here, because if you just say, hey, I'm going to show you all the incorrects, well, like same deal we were talking about earlier, if you don't have a big enough pool, then I think Lance does a good job of this. He has in some previous courses where he builds a pool that is enormous. And so by doing that, does it matter that they see the correct answer, not necessarily the wrong answer, but the actual correct answer? In his case, more times than not, it doesn't. But in small tests, you may not want to do that. You may just want to let them see the incorrect, that it's incorrect. And of course, what is the availability of the quiz? Do you want it to be available for a certain group that you have that needs an extended time? Do you want it to be available? Is there a window? Or does that matter? Is that even important? It may or may not be, but the due date will always be important. You got to set that to kind of set the standard of when things are supposed to be paced, therefore creating your pacing guide. This takes me to my next slide. And I guess as we look at number 2 here, we're either adding questions, either creating on the fly, like we can go through and manually add questions, or we can bring them in from a bank, which Lance was kind of showing you how to build a bank. But if you can build banks on your own. If you go into the quizzes link and up at the top, you can create banks that way. What kind of questions? If you look over on the right, I've shown on my little slide here, I've shown you all the different options in just the basic quizzes that Canvas has. But Canvas they've one-upped a beta version of an actual new, what we call the new quizzes. And there are some limitations and some restrictions, and we've tried to avoid a little bit of that. But some of the things that are in the new quizzes that I think I would be interested in would be like hotspot questioning, where you can like, hey, identify this or click on this. And you can see all the options here: multiple choice, true and false, fill in the blank, fill in multiple blanks. And there's a little bit of learning curve to figure out how to build those. So don't just think, well, that makes sense. Sometimes they'll want you to put a little bracket enclosed item. And then when you do that, it actually identifies it as an answer. And so then you got to give the possible answers. Number, you can do questions about math, and you can do variance within 1, 2, 3 points, whatever you want to do from there, or maybe 0.100th, whatever it is. And so you can see, and of course, short answer essay questions, you've got those on there as well. Let's see. Also, this is just my thoughts, and I know these are kind of random thoughts, but when you're building quizzes as you go along, there's a lot of ways to build them. You can literally scan an item, and you can sequence off, like just highlight a section and clip all the items out and go and build those items as images, which a lot of college courses have kind of gone to image-based tests. That way, you can't copy and paste into Google, or you can't do things like that. So that's a thought process that's out there. Once again, I go back to what I said about Lance's naming system. If you're going to do it that way, you can't necessarily search your questions. So you'll want to make sure that you got things listed by standards and by items like that. So, and of course, as somebody once told me, I guess most of you probably recognize the little image there, but if we take the blue pill, we wake up and we believe what we want to believe. We take the red pill and then we go down the rabbit hole and we see how far this goes. So as we look at this and we kind of get the idea, we have to kind of think, what would I do if I was in the student's thing? And I want to make it not only, I want rigor, but I want to make it valuable, and I want to make it content rich. And that's what we would like to do. So once you've done with your test and you're done with your quiz, and it's ready for the big time, as I said, it's time to go ahead and publish it. Let's put it out for the real world to see, and then the kids can now take that test. So I think that is it for me, Lance, unless you want me to show it. Are you going to show a quiz from your side, or do you want me to drop to that?
Yes, sir. I'm fixing to jump in there. You did excellent there, Adam, because somebody had mentioned something, and I wanted to make sure we showed this part of it. So I am importing one last thing from exam view right now, essay questions from this unit 2. All right, so if I go back to my quizzes now, everybody will see during that time I created all that, and I just created this one. I'm going to delete this guy off. All right, so I've got these 5 quizzes that's here now. The quizzes are built, but maybe we need a test built. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to call this quizzes again. This is going to be my unit 8 test. And I'm going to go to question. Well, actually, before I do that, this is a test. So let's make this test. Let's make this one question at a time. I'm going to put an access code on this one. We'll just put math for right now. I know that would not be an acceptable passcode for our online teachers. But now I'm coming in here, new question group. I've got 5 units and I have 4 essay questions. All right, so I'm going to say we're going to pick 2 essay questions. I want maybe 25 questions. So I want to make sure this adds up to 23 questions then. So we're going to go 5. Let's do 5 here. And let's do 20 points, or not 20 points. We're going to get to 100. So let's do 4 points apiece here, link bank. I'm going to select the first group. Doesn't really matter which way you do this. You can name the groups if you want to. I generally don't. Second group, select bank. We're going to have 5 questions here, 4 points apiece. Create group. New question group, select bank. I'm going to the third one here, select bank. 5 questions, 4 points apiece. Create group. So Adam, help me do math here as I do this. How many points I've got? So I'm rushing through this right quick. Fourth group, select. 5 questions, 4 points apiece. Create that. And then last, I've got one more group that was actually, as far as the lessons went, select bank, 5 questions, 4 points apiece, create group. But then last, I created a group that had essay or corrective response questions in it. That's got 4 questions in it. This one, I'm going to select 2 of the 4. That way they're not getting so many different ones, because as the teacher, I have to hand grade these. So I don't want to get too many questions going on out there. These are probably worth a little more. So I'm going to say 10 points a piece right here, create group. And then now I'm going to hit save and publish. So what you're going to see is I just made the assessments from those same groups. This one's worth 120 points. It's in my test assignments. If I go to quizzes now, I will see that I have quiz 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and unit test 8. Next thing we need to do, we got to get this to the modules. Really easy to do. I'm going to go to module view. Here's my units. I'm going to hit the plus sign because I want to add content. Underneath here, I'm going to change this to quizzes. There they all are. If you will hold the command key down on a Mac or a control key on the PC, select all of them that you want. Select the indent level that you want. Let's just do 2, sort of scoot it over some. Hit add item. It throws them all here to the bottom. Drag and drop them where you want them. So that's there, 8.3, 8.2, 8.5. After the review, there's the test. So now in our first module that you've seen tonight, we've created all the assignments, we've created all the quizzes, and we have created the test. I made a mistake on purpose just so you guys can see this. When we get ready to do grade weighting, if we go to assignments, you will see in our categories now that I have my assignments here, I have my quizzes here, and I have my test here. Adam, do you see anything wrong with what I've got going on here?
I see a quiz in your assignments.
Yeah, so I did this really quick and on purpose. I accidentally left a quiz as an assignment because that's what it defaults to. So I need to put this guy down here. I can grab this guy, drag and drop him. I like to keep it in sequential order. So there you go. Now it's in the assignments category. Looks like Adam has already set our group weighting for us. 30,
yeah, go up there
30.
and show that. Click on the 3 dots there and show them the setting on that real quick.
Yeah.
I did do that.
So you click on that, assignment group weighting. You can set your weights right there. That's what you want it to be. So if you got a notebook, something else you want to put right there, there's where your assignment group weighting goes in there.
Let me give you the nugget here real quick for today on this one. Extra credit, because of the way Canvas is built, wants you to do it at the end of the course. So even though you can put extra credit in there, you as 3%, you don't want to actually put the 3% in it until you get to the end. So it technically would be 103%, but that's the way that Canvas wants you to do it, or at least that was the way, unless they fixed that from the last time.
Yes, that is. All right. And also, if you go over into our grades tab, you're going to be able to see every one of those assignments right here in the grades tab. And you'll see at the end, it's segmented off. Here's your assignments. Here's your quiz. Here's your test, your sample, the categories that they are for each one, and then your total points. Once it averages those together, here's the student's final average. I don't like this guy here. I like to click these 3 dots and hit move to the front because your students' names are going to be here. I like to see student names and their actual grade. It helps me to know who do I need to talk to every week, so I can get in here and I can talk to who I need to. All right.
One more thing with me on that. Okay. When you export a grade book where Lance was at and you make changes manually, like if you were, let's just say you wanted to do that for an assignment or something, once you import it, this is a great tool. I really like Canvas for this. They bring it up in front of you and they show the comparison between what was and what is. Great way to do that. And we had some questions, Lance. They want us to end on time today. So we're trying to answer some questions and we got more to go.
All right, so since they want us to try to end on time, we are going to move external tools till next week. And I'm sorry to do that to you guys, but that will get us to our Google LTIs for next week, copying assignments for each student. Adam can show his little trick with the copy. Then we can show you some of these tools. I know some of you know some of these tools, so we will talk to those next week. So same bat time, same bat channel, right, Adam?
That's right, pal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me say one more thing. I want to answer 2 questions real quick though. The one question somebody asked, and they said, you can use Flipgrid. I am a advocate of Flipgrid. I think it is fantastic. I just used it this summer for the first time. It is a great video discussion based thing. So you can create discussions. You can keep them private, or you can create them public. You can have guest mode where you can invite people in and do guest mode as far as a Flipgrid. It is a great tool that kind of blends like a social media atmosphere with actual online learning. So really like that. And I had another question about, I may have missed it. Let's see.
Well, we had somebody on that just put four sessions on there. So does that mean that we need to go another week?
Yeah.
We'll see.
This question was for you. Somebody said, can you import like you did to the new quizzes?
Can you import? Yes, you can import to the new quizzes. I am currently staying away from the new quizzes. I've been on the beta since the very beginning with it. The only reason that I'm staying away from it is blueprinting, which we do a lot of, and copying sometimes can get a little hairy with it. But if you are building inside your course, and it's just you're in your own walled garden and you're not having to share stuff out, I would definitely start working in the new quizzes. But what Adam and I do a lot is we build it kind of at the district level, and then we have to flow it into everybody else. And new quizzes can cause a problem at that point. They're working on that, and it should be fixed soon.
And Lance, they were at maybe something for next week as well. Somebody asked about grabbing a course from the Commons, and I mentioned to her that it goes right in your dashboard. You can import your kiddos then and make it your own. So that might be something for a future one too. Your sense of timing and everything you addressed and pulling in the questions from the field, you guys are outstanding. Absolutely outstanding.
Tell Catherine she gets an atta girl. I see Catherine on there. You did your Bitmoji classroom. Great.
Yay.
Awesome. All right, so then we'll talk about Commons next week, you said, and we're gonna talk about external tools, of course, and we're gonna leave this class alone. What you see right now, we'll add to it next week and make it better. So I promise not to touch it or do anything till next week. What other questions do we have that's come in tonight?
Sorry to our YouTube groupies out there, but we've only got 4 minutes to the next broadcast, and it's another global GEG one. So unfortunately, it's the only time I've ever seen us have to wrap up on time for sure. So in 3 minutes, join us for Google Dreamhouse. And thanks again to the amazing Lance Key, the amazing Adam West, and the amazing Dana Cuni. We had so much fun, and the chat was just absolutely on fire today. So we will see you guys next week. You do have 2 more minutes if you want to answer one really fast, Lance.
Okay, what you got? Anything?
Dana?
Well, somebody asked if you guys have any published courses in the Commons they can steal.
Do we have any published? Yes, I do have one in there. You can look for it by my name. It's a math class. If you do need anything, MrKeysClassroom.com. I'll show you this. Shameless plug here. MrKeysClassroom.com. I am a flipped math teacher, or I was a flipped math teacher. I'm not teaching so much anymore. Flipped math teacher. So all pre-cal or pre-algebra through pre-calculus, all of my content is online that you can steal. You can have it. You're welcome.
Yeah. And I put it in the chat. Hopefully I spelled it right.
And you picked that up in an alleyway too. So everybody remember that.
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell all my secrets. Okay.
This is good. This is so vibrant. And every time we learn, every time we become more expert at a tool, we learn how much more we have to learn about the tool. So fantastic. This is just phenomenal. And Dana's already scheduled for 20 more sessions. So you're stuck.
It's true. Once a week until the end of time.
Oh. They could get really bad really quick. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. Great stuff. I appreciate y'all.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you again, you guys.
All right. Anything else tonight?
Probably time for. Do they have Seesaw on Canvas?
Seesaw. Okay, so Seesaw is a LMS. Also, it's more for littles. There is ways that you can bring certain parts of Seesaw into Canvas. A full embed, I'm not for sure that they do have. And some of our littles, like our K12, some teachers do choose to use Seesaw over Google Classroom and over Canvas.
Cool beans.
Yep.
Is there another comment? Just more sessions, and join us in a minute for our next broadcast. But well, thanks you guys. We'll close this out now, and we'll see everybody next week. Like Lance said, same bat time, same bat channel.
All right. Thank you, guys.